right, go ahead and raise your hands, and I'll get you the mic.
John, that kind of turned into a flip the script Saturday. When did you start seeing that coming?
I think our bats have been going in the right direction for about a week. Just really timely hitting from a lot of different people, and that's how you win when your starter doesn't have a good day. Between Bo's homer, Jano's homer, Schneider, both the homer and the sac fly, walks even, walk by Varsh, walk by George, and then just good at bats. You can kind of feel it coming a little bit. I think they never thought they were out of it, and it was a really good win.
There are a lot of firsts and for you guys in this game, for this season in this game. First time to double digits, biggest rally, and et cetera. You said the guys always felt like that was there. How did maybe the quality of at-bats maybe tie into that feeling, that confidence that maybe they can pull something like this off?
Yeah, I think they feel pretty good about what they're doing. I think Vladdy swinging the bat the way he is obviously helps. Those are really, really good at bats by him, and I know we've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, but these guys are better than what they've shown. Up to this point. A lot of those guys you can say that about. So the confidence hasn't wavered, and hopefully this type of win gets you rolling a little bit.
Just on Davis, what does it mean to have a game like that? Obviously, when what happened in the first inning, just an error there, but then to kind of see him come back, see him not get down from that kind of error, and then have the offensive game that he had.
Yeah, that's him. He's pretty steady, whether it's his at bats or whether it's just his mindset, really. So no one feels worse than him when you make an error with Kevin Gausman on the mound, and those things happen. But to kind of flush it and keep moving on and do his job from that point on, that's just kind of who he is.
And just on Kevin, what was not quite working for him today? Obviously, we kind of know the history with the Twins. He's had a tough time with them.
Yeah, they seem pretty comfortable in the box against him. He knows that, and I thought for the stuff that he was featuring today, they had a really good approach. Wasn't expecting Santana to hit a ball 3 balls up, to dead center. So there were some good swings on him, but Kev knows that, and I think you got to give credit to them for having a good approach.
Win or lose, you move on to the next game, but do you kind of want the players to keep this 7-1 comeback fresh in their mind?
Absolutely. This is, these type of games haven't happened too often this year. One in Washington where we kind of came up short, but I think that these games are very, very much, they show what kind of character we have in the clubhouse. And, I think right now it's easy to kind of see where we have been or where we are. But the guys that are here know where we really are and where we think we're going to go. So I think, a win like today is really, really important and really motivating going forward.
The runs, the hits, those were great too, but big workload for the bullpen. Talk about the job they did and the comeback for Garcia too.
Yeah, great having Yemi back, obviously. They all did their part, really. I know there was a couple runs scored off of them, homer off a pop, but Trev was great. In these type of games too, I think those 2 innings out of Trevor gets very overlooked, but that kind of kept the game where it was and kept the momentum on our side. Great bounce back outing from Swanee, and then Jimmy and Jordan were really, really good. So in games like this where your starter comes out early, you want to just keep the game where it is. So it was credit to both the bullpen and then the offense doing what they did.
Hey, John, you mentioned Vladdy's hitting. What's changed for him in the past couple outings?
He's swinging at really good pitches. He's not in a rush. Even the at bat with the bases loaded, took a first pitch. He's confident. I think when I've said this, when your mechanics are there and your approach is there, you feel really good in the box. And I think that he right now has that feeling, and he's swinging at good pitches. He's hitting the ball extremely hard. And, that's the kind of hitter that he is, really.
John, you mentioned the home runs and then the walks and then the singles and whatnot. How important is it to find that maybe diversity in scoring?
Yeah, you want to try to not pigeonhole yourself into one type of offense, but, we've been talking about, doing a little bit more, damage. I don't know what you want to call it, damage, but just getting really good swings off in counts that you should, and I think guys did that today. And, the little at-bats, the walks, the sac fly from Schneider and Ernie's hit, little things like that, Izzy's hit and run, and Jano going to third, all those little things, they just add up. And a game like this where momentum kind of shifts back and forth, it's just really important.
And then obviously in the board, you see guys smiling, laughing at each other, even when they were still, trailing. And Vlad, again, seems to be kind of at the center of that. When you talk about leadership and clubhouse culture, how important is it to keep sort of that mood going?
Very, it's a long season. I know it gets, everyone hates when you say it, but it's May, and, there's a lot of baseball left to be played. So going back to what I said, the only people that know how we feel right now is us. And it's a pretty good feeling right now.
Going back to Philly, when after the Harper Grand Slam and they came out with the 6-pitch inning, we talked about that earlier in the week. To not see that, is that part of what the thinking has not changed, but gotten more serious about after that meeting? And also to see Richards do it to them with that 9-pitch inning after you guys came back.
Yeah, it's there is such thing as momentum, in this game, and I think we've been talking about it for a long time. And again, it's not trying to be passive or not trying to work a walk. It's just having good at bats up and down, throughout the game. So yeah, I think it's we talk about it all the time. I think when it kind of comes to a head like it did, in Philly, it's nice to acknowledge it and talk about it and to just keep it in everyone's mind going forward. But yeah, it is hard sometimes. Those at bats are tough. You have a lead. As a pitcher, you got to come in and be aggressive and throw strikes. And I thought today Trev did a really good job of that.
As much as you're confident in everyone you're throwing out there, how much of it with Yimmy was see what he's got after 2 weeks?
None at all. He's one of the best relievers in baseball. So none at all. It was kind of status quo for him.
John, Gausman allowed 6 hits in counts that were either 0-2 or 1-2, 5 of them on fastballs. What would you potentially read into that?
I think the fact that they have had a really good approach against him, and I think with Kev, it kind of just depends on where he's throwing his fastball. It looks like there's been different ways they've gone about attacking him. I think with you hit the splitter or you hit the fastball, and it's a good approach by them. There were some pitches that were really pretty well located that were still hit, that found some holes too. That's kind of just how baseball goes, but it's I think Kev will like to never see them again. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it is. But it's they have a good approach against him.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.